So anyway, you will be getting lots of questions from author's biography. For example, let me ask you one question. There is a particular writer who rejected Nobel Prize in Literature. Once he proclaimed that I won't receive Nobel Prize, so you should not include me in the list of Nobel Prize. But unfortunately, the committee included his name, and again, unfortunately, he was selected for Nobel Prize, and the guy rejected the Nobel Prize. Can you name the person? One who rejected the Nobel Prize in Literature? Okay, people say that he is one of the co-founder of existentialism, but he says, no, I am not such a guy. He won Nobel Prize, but rejected it. It is not Albert Camus, it is his friend. It is his friend, not Camus, not Martin Leslie. He wrote a novel, The Flea. The Flea. It is not Beckett. No. Then let me say it is Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre is the author. He rejected Nobel Prize in Literature. There is another person who also rejected Nobel Prize in Literature, but he was forcefully rejected. Actually, he wanted to get Nobel Prize. He was pretty ambitious. He wanted very much the Nobel Prize, but unfortunately, the politicians of the country, I mean, he belongs to a particular country, they said, if you collect the Nobel Prize from that authority, you will be killed or you will be arrested. Out of the fear, he also said, I don't want Nobel Prize. But later when he died, his family and other members went there and they collected it. Can you say the name of the author? A novelist. Do you want any clue? Calicut University has prescribed one of his novels, that was Dr. Zhivago in PG syllabus. Still no idea? Then it is boys. Yeah, Pastor Nag. Murshida got the answer. It is Pastor Nag. And once there was a question in our net exam, it was like this. I just remember like this. Who is the second youngest one to get Nobel Prize in Literature? Who is the second youngest one to get Nobel Prize in Literature? And there was a clue also in the question paper, I think. I remember that he died in a car accident. Who was the second youngest one to get Nobel Prize in Literature? Don't know? Then I will ask you another question. Who is the youngest one to get Nobel Prize in Literature? Who is the youngest one to get Nobel Prize in Literature? It is Kipling. Yeah, of course, it is Kipling. He is the youngest one to get Nobel Prize in Literature. Once there was a question about an English writer. He born in India and he wrote with some pen names like Eric Blair. Do you know who is that person? Probably he born in Bihar or somewhere else in India, in Motihari. His pen name was Eric Blair. He is one of the famous writers, a novelist. It is Orwell. Yeah, right, it is Orwell. Who was the Latin secretary of Oliver Cromwell? Do you know? Who was the Latin secretary of Oliver Cromwell? No idea. He is the author of an epic in English. Probably there is only one epic in English. Yeah, it is Milton. He was the Latin secretary. And there is a famous sentence. It goes like this. He is not for an age. He is for all age. Who said this? About who? He is not for an age. Who said this famous statement? Or about whom? It is about Shakespeare. And who wrote it? Not Dryden. Much before that. He was a contemporary of Shakespeare. Not this Johnson. There is another Johnson. Yes, Johnson. That is Ben Jonson. Oh, you got the answer. Right. Who is poet's poet? Who is poet's poet? Who called him as poet's poet? Who called Spencer as poet's poet? Charles Lamb. Okay, Kiran Desai is a girlfriend of Dash. A famous writer once said that India should be proud of her because she was his girlfriend. Do you know the person? He won Nobel Prize in Literature. They together write some books. No idea. He's the author of Snow. He's the author of My Name is Red. Yeah, Pamuk, you got it. So there will be such questions like, do you know who is the first poet laureate in England? Who is the first poet laureate? Dryden was the first official poet laureate, but before that there was another person. That was Ben Jonson. And after Dryden, we have Shadwell and others. Do you know who is the poet laureate now of England? From 2019 onwards, a particular person is there as poet laureate. Do you have any idea? No, Duffy was there till 2019. Now another person. Okay, then don't worry. Yeah, Armitage is the answer. You got it. Now another question in your screen. See the question. Which among the following novels was not written in 1922? Try to answer the question. A. Passage to India. Do you know in which year A Passage to India was written? Do you know which year A Passage to India was written? Yeah, 1924. Okay, so there will be a few questions related to the publication year or the presentation of drama or particular year of the particular event. So you have to be aware of that. It doesn't mean that you have to learn each year and publication year of each work. No. Only important years will be asked in your net exam. And for example, do you know in which year The Unfortunate Traveler by Thomas Nash was written or published? In which year? What is the year of Thomas Nash's Unfortunate Traveler? Don't know? So let me ask you, what is the importance of the year 1611? What is the importance of the year 1611? Many times the question has been asked in a way. Probably 5 times or more than that. The importance of the year of 1611. Yeah, Bible. A standard version of Bible of King James first arrived in 1611. Yeah, do you know in which year the first folio of Shakespeare has been published? In which year the first folio of Shakespeare? 1623. And you might have heard of Areopagitica. It's a work by Milton. Do you know the year of Areopagitica? 1644, right answer. And there was a question probably 2 or 3 times about Samuel Pepys' diaries. Do you know what was the duration of, from which year to which year, Samuel Pepys' diaries? What's time period of the diary? Not that. But don't worry. Yeah, it starts from 1660 as Murshida says, and it lasted in 1669. And in 1642, something great happened in England, the history of literature especially. In 1642, what was it? Old theatres were closed, right? Excuse me, if you feel that if you are taking too much time for typing, then you may unmute and answer the question. So, because we are almost running out of time. And in which year the restoration happened? In which year the restoration happened? 1660. So there will be questions like the publication year of Pilgrim's Progress, John Locke's Essay on Human Understanding, probably Gulliver's Travel. It has been asked several times. The Gulliver's Travels by a novel by Jonathan Swift. And many times there was a question regarding with The Way of the World by William Congreve. So its year has been asked. You might be knowing about the first English novel. It was in 1740. And do you know in which year the first English dictionary by Samuel Johnson in England was published? It has been asked many times. First English dictionary, 1755. Once there was a question, the first American English dictionary, in which year? It is Noah Webster's dictionary. In which year? 1828. You might be well aware of the relevance of 1798, lyrical ballads, the prelude, There was a question regarding not only one time, many times, Pride and Prejudice. It was in 1813 and French Revolution, Wuthering Heights we have already mentioned, Moby Dick, Das Capital. Earlier there was repeatedly asked a question about the publication year of Das Capital and Origin of the Species. Do you know the publication year of Origin of the Species? The publication year of the Origin of Species, it is in 1859. 1859, and Great Gatsby. There are several novels like Animal Farms in 1945, and 1984 is a novel in 1949, and there are lots of such issues, such points. And probably one of the most repeated asked questions regarding the year, it was William Caxton's printing press. Do you know the year of establishment of that printing press by William Caxton? Any idea? 1476. 1476. Okay. Yeah, publication year is more important. Yeah, right, Murshida. And do you know when Chaucer died? Which year Chaucer died? 1400. So you should know Chaucer's death and Shakespeare's birth year and his death. Of course, he is one of the fellow playwrights who died in 1593. And Totten's Miscellaneous publication. Alexander Pope died in 1744, and in 1784 Dr. Samuel Johnson died. And in Pathetic Fallacy, that was coined in 1856. Spanish Armada was in 1588, and there was, of course, World War II started in 1939. The same year, father of modern psychology died. The same year, W.B. Yeats died, and 1956 there was the presentation of Look Back in Anger. Such important issues you have to remember. So keep all these things in your mind. Okay. Probably some of the famous works, authors, Nobel Prize winning years might be important. Do you know in which year the Indian Rabindranath Tagore won Nobel Prize in Literature? In which year Tagore won Nobel Prize in Literature? And Yeats, W.B. Yeats won Nobel Prize in Literature? W.B. Yeats won Nobel Prize in Literature? 1923. Bernard Shaw in 25. T.S. Eliot in 48. C. Mazzini, it was once asked in 95. Marquez in 82. Wole Soyinka in 86. Kipling in 1907. So it doesn't mean you should know that all Nobel Prize years. No, only the important writers. So, and similarly, who is the last one to get Booker Prize in Literature? It was a work, The Promise. Who is the last one to get Booker Prize in Literature? Not Adiga. Probably in India, it is Adiga. It is a South African writer, Damon Galgut. Forget this. Okay. Not Hilary Mandel. See another question and try to answer. Don't take too much time. These kind of questions are a trend of UGC now. You know, this last time exam, this was the trend. They will give you lots of passages and you have to answer. Others says heroic qualities. Okay, what others think? What does Manu think? What does Murshida? Manu says B, he is patient and selfless. Okay. Jawahara says yeah, he is, and Murshida also says yeah. What about Hiba? Abi says yeah. So here is only one right answer, that is he is patient and selfless. He is patient and selfless. I don't have time to read and explain the lines because almost we have reached 11 o'clock now. Can I take 10 more minutes because we started a little late? Are you okay with that? Okay, thank you. So let me say that this is a question, it is an example for textual fact. The question checks whether you have read the poem. If you have read the poem seriously, then you will be answer the question very easily. So such questions will be there. For example, in one of the Victorian novels, there is a particular character, he said, I want more. Who said, I want more? That's a famous statement in English literature. A Victorian character, I want more. It is not Pitt. It is not Tom Sawyer. A Victorian character said, I want more. He wanted more food. And he said, I want more. It is Oliver Twist. It is Oliver Twist. So, another example, there is a novel, Pride and Prejudice. Who represents pride? Who represents pride there in Pride and Prejudice? Darcy or Elizabeth? Darcy. Okay, you got it. Okay, once there was a question like this, K is a character from? K is a character from? Or Joseph K is a character from? The Trial. The Trial. Okay, muddy underwear is a symbol in a novel. Muddy underwear is a symbol used in a novel. Do you know? I think in PG syllabus for Calicut University it is there. Calicut University syllabus is one of the best syllabus for net examination. Sound and the Fury. As of now, this is enough in this part. This is textual facts. And can you see another question there? And try to answer the question. Try to answer the question. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life is the opening line of dash. Yeah, answer right, Kiba. Said the right answer, David Copperfield. So you will be getting some opening line questions. So you need not read all the books opening line. Only important books. I mean, if the opening line has a kind of relevance only, they will ask you. For example, there is a particular classic work starts like this. Of man's first disobedience. Of man's first disobedience. Which is the work? Of man's first disobedience. Don't know? Then let me ask you a simple question. The woods are lovely dark, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Are taken from. These two lines are taken from. Yeah, Paradise Law, the alien question's answer of man first disobedience. Now the question, the woods are lovely dark, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, is taken from. No idea. Then let me say, heard melodies are sweet. Heard melodies are sweet. Heard melodies are sweet. Probably you know the answer, but you, yeah, Grecian and right. Die feminist, make my circle just. Die feminist, make my circle just. Die feminist, make my circle just. No clue. Okay, done. Yeah, nobody comes, nobody goes, nothing happens. Is an ending line off. Nobody comes, nobody goes, nothing happens is an ending line off. Waiting for Bodo, thank you. Call me Ishmael is opening line off. Call me Ishmael is the opening line off. Once there was a question about this particular work, yeah, Moby Dick. Question was, my mother died yesterday, or maybe it was the day before yesterday, I am not sure. Is the opening line off? Is the opening line off? Another year there was a question like, all happy families are alike. Is opening line off? So these are examples for the famous quoting or opening or ending line. Such questions will be asked there. Another example is another question. Osborne's look back in anger is an example of dash. The answer is kitchen scene drama. So you should know the important different movements like movement in poetry or late school of poetry, or movements in drama, Kailiad school of novelistics. So such thing you should know. There will be some questions from that area too. Before there is no enough time, so I am moving with a little quickness. And there is another novel, Peter Ackroyd's first novel, The Great Fire of London, picks up the historical echoes and actually deploys the Dickens novel as an intertext. So there will be questions regarding intertextuality and textual allusion. So here the question is, the Great Fire of London is taking its idea, or it has an intertextuality with dash. Answer is Lil Dorrit. So there are lots of samples for that. kind of literary allusions. For example, A Passage to India is a novel by. A Passage to India is a novel by. A Passage to India is a post-colonial novel by. It is not by Whitman. Whitman is the author of a poem, A Passage to India. For that, I asked you the question. So from that poem, the novelist took the title A Passage to India. So that kind of allusion will be there. The novelist is Foster. Thank you. And I don't want to ask you so many questions. Once again, another kind of questions will be like this. The textual structure. In how many parts did Cervantes publish his novel Don Quixote? How many parts are there for Don Quixote? How many parts are there? Yeah, so the answer is 2. Answer is 2. So such questions will be asked. For example, how many lines are there in a Shakespearean sonnet? Or how many parts are there in To the Lighthouse? How many parts are there in A Passage to India? How many books are there in Paradise Lost? How many eclogues are there in Shepherd's Calendar? How many poems are there in PYQ? How many parts are there in Tristram Shandy? It was asked. That way, such questions will be there. And another question, it is here. Let me skip the question because we don't have enough time. Another area is there will be question regarding with subtitles of the important works. And of course, there will be questions like specific literary terms or from prosody also. There will be questions like you might have heard of flat character, or you might have heard of writerly text and readerly text. You might have heard of pathetic fallacy. Such questions will be there regarding to those things. And writerly text, another question is here. According to Barth, a text which draws attention to its artifice, to the ways in which it is structured, is called writerly text. Such questions will be there. And there will be questions from linguistic part, and there will be questions from such like this. From among the following identify the journal. It is regarding journal that publishes articles on English language and teaching. Your answer is Tissot Hotel. And these are the sample questions which I wanted to show you. And let me tell you, there are some other area you have to remember, like fictional plays of novels or fictional settings. For example, Macondo is a fictional setting in a novel. Do you know Macondo? Is a fictional place in Macondo. It's a fictional setting of a famous novel, Macondo. It is based on Aracataca County. Aymanam is a fictional setting of Aymanam. Yoknapatawpha County is a fictional setting of Yorkshire Moor, Egdon Heath, Malgudi, Kandapura, Wonderland, Wessex, Ilium, White, Neverland. All these are fictional settings, examples for fictional settings. Okay, as of now, this is enough. Okay, thank you.